I spent time out covering this story out in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I met some really wonderful people, people who really do care about children. And Daisy is one of them. Daisy was the lady who was so upset that little Elisa didn't have anybody to bury her, that you started the neighborhood getting involved.
Yes, Rolanda. Some of the neighbors, we have some right here. We started up a collection to bury Elisa. We thought that Elisa needed to be buried with dignity, because at least she didn't have it while she was alive. So at least let us put her to rest in peace.
You have just watched that whole interview that I did with the mother who's accused of murdering Elisa. What were you thinking? What's your reaction?
I was thinking that right now she doesn't have a lot of feelings, like for Elisa, or that maybe that now, she wants to defend herself. I did see Elisa a few times in the neighborhood. I saw her in the grocery store. And I did notice that Elisa was a little bit shy, down. I saw Wilda with all the other kids too, and her husband Carlos. And I am sorry that I did not do something, to come to her attention, to see if she needed some help. And I think that everybody should go out there. Any mother that you see that is on drugs, on alcohol, and you know that all these kids, please don't stay shut. Please go out. Don't wait for another kid to get killed. We all have to be involved. Sometimes people say this is not your business, but it is our business. It's our children that are being killed.
Daisy, there were reports that neighbors heard the screams coming out of that apartment and saw this child who had just been bruised beyond belief, and nobody picked up the phone and called.
Well, I did not live in that building, but if I would have lived in that building, at least next to a Wilda, I would have been sure that Elisa will not be dead. Because whenever there's anything going on in my floor, I do open my door and I do go out and I do knock doors. And if I have to call the police, I will do it.
Thank you, Daisy. One of the things that we always say on the Rolonda Show is that when it comes to any form of violence and abuse in the home, the 3 punches that really count is 911. I honestly believe that if you hear something down that hall or see some child and things don't look right, I believe you just can't do it enough. You can't help enough. You were very, very moved throughout that entire interview.
I knew her as son.
Take your time, darling.
One simple word, Barbie.
What does that mean?
She always carried a Barbie because she said that was her father.
It was a gift from her father.
When her father died, that's when Awilda got custody of little Elisa. And I always asked her, why do you always have the Barbie? You're too big to carry a Barbie. No, this was a gift from my daddy. My daddy's not with me anymore, so this is my daddy.
What kind of little girl was Elisa?
Elisa, like Daisy said, was shy. She was very smart. When you asked her, how you doing in school? I have all A's.
What does this do to you?
Outrage. To see her mother say that she didn't do it. Then who did? Who else was in the house? She said she did not black out. Maybe when you asked her the question, maybe you blanked out. Maybe you don't remember hitting her. No, I know I didn't hit her. Then how are you going to tell me? How are you not going to hear someone going into your house, going into that little girl's room, killing her and not killing the rest of the kids?
This must break your heart to see that little girl in the neighborhood who's no longer there anymore.
It does. Because you always knew them as a well-kept family. They were well-behaved. They were all together. And to see that you're not going to see that little girl or the rest of her brothers. We cannot forget her brothers and sisters play in the playground. That's something that's very touching and something that we'll never forget.
Joining us now is Dr. Janet Rosenzweig. She's the Director of Human Services in Mercer County, New Jersey. She works with child abuse victims. And I think we need to learn a lot about what we all can do, Janet. God forbid something like this happen in our own neighborhoods, and the way that things are going, we can't promise they won't. We'll be right back in a minute with more and what we can do to help prevent child abuse.
Last year, over 1 million children came face to face with child abuse. But this year, there's a program that can help stop the abuse before it starts. A program that reaches out to new parents, that teaches them how to cope with the stresses that lead to abuse. But we need your help where you live, because without it, many of the children born today will become victims of abuse tomorrow. Call 1-800-CHILDREN. The more you help, the less they hurt.